The AEW crowd froze in disbelief. Cameras zoomed in. Nobody could believe who just walked through that curtain. Under the flashing lights of the arena, a new figure entered. Calm, poised, but radiating danger. Arissa LeBrock, daughter of Hollywood legend Steven Seagal, had just made her way into the AEW ring, and she wasn't there to play nice. The crowd erupted into chaos. Some fans screamed in excitement, others shouted in confusion. The commentary table went silent for a few seconds. Tony Schiavone could barely get the words out. That's Steven Seagal's daughter. What is she doing here in AEW? The energy was electric. Arissa, known for her MMA background and her father's famous stoic demeanor, stood center ring with eyes that could cut glass. She didn't smile. She didn't wave. She simply raised the mic and said 6 chilling words. "I'm not here to entertain you." Those words sent shockwaves through the entire women's division. Fans on social media went wild, posting clips and calling her the silent assassin. Within minutes, Arissa LeBrock was trending worldwide. Backstage, reports said AEW officials didn't even know she was going to appear. Her contract had been quietly finalized just 48 hours before Dynamite. Tony Khan himself supposedly wanted to keep it secret to capture a real reaction. And it worked. It was pure chaos. But this debut wasn't just about fame or family ties. Arissa came with a purpose. Rumors were spreading that she had a message, or maybe a warning, for AEW's most dominant women. Insiders whispered that she'd been training with former MMA fighters and even borrowing tactics from her father's old Aikido discipline. As the lights dimmed and Arissa stared straight into the camera, she ended her segment with a cold statement that sent a chill down every spine in the arena. "Tell them, I'm coming." The screen faded to black. Fans couldn't believe what they had just seen. Was AEW about to witness its most dangerous woman yet? The question lingered in the air. Who exactly was Arissa Warning, and how far would she go to prove herself? The next morning, AEW's locker room was in absolute panic. Reports began leaking that Arissa LeBrock had made a list, a target list, of women she planned to face. The names were shocking: Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, and most chilling of all, Rhea Ripley, the crossover powerhouse rumored to be in talks with AEW for a one-off appearance. The internet exploded. Fans couldn't stop talking. "Arissa calling out Rhea? She's insane," one post read. Another simply said, "This is going to break the internet." Inside AEW, the women's division wasn't laughing. Multiple wrestlers reportedly voiced concern backstage, calling Arissa unstable and dangerous. Britt Baker was even overheard saying, "If she wants a fight, she'll get one. But this isn't Hollywood." Arissa didn't care. She wasn't there for friendship. In a backstage promo uploaded to AEW's YouTube channel, she looked straight into the lens and said, "I've watched you all talk tough. Now let's see who survives when it's real." Viewers went wild. That video racked up over 5 million views in less than a day. Fans compared her aura to Ronda Rousey's early days: raw, unpredictable, and unfiltered. But this wasn't Ronda. This was someone colder, calmer, and far more deliberate. Arissa's composure made everything scarier. Then came the bombshell. AEW announced a special exhibition match for the next week's show: Arissa LeBrock versus a mystery opponent handpicked by the women's division. The stipulation: if Arissa won, she'd get a live mic to deliver her full warning on national TV. The crowd was buzzing. Social media counted down the days. Every wrestling page, from Fightful to WrestleTalk, was running stories about Seagal's daughter bringing legit martial discipline into the wrestling ring. The night finally arrived. The lights dimmed once again, the crowd roared, and Arissa stepped through the curtain, dressed in black, her expression colder than ever. The bell rang, and her opponent was revealed: Chris Statlander, one of AEW's toughest. The fans cheered, but that cheer turned into stunned silence within seconds. Arissa moved like a panther, silent, calculated, efficient. Within 90 seconds, she had Statlander locked in an armbar so precise it looked like a movie fight scene, only it was very real. Statlander tapped. The crowd couldn't believe what they were seeing. After the bell, Arissa refused to let go. Security rushed in, but her eyes were fixed on the camera again, and this time she whispered, "That was just a message." AEW management was losing control, and Arissa LeBrock was just getting started. Fans online began calling her the Human Warning. The clip of her submission win hit 20 million views in 48 hours. But the controversy wasn't just about her dominance. It was about what she did next. In an unsanctioned backstage segment, Arissa interrupted an interview with Toni Storm. She didn't speak. She simply stared, letting the silence crush the air around them. Storm tried to laugh it off until Arissa whispered, "You're next." The crowd, watching on the big screen, gasped. The arena filled with chants of, "Holy E!" Tony Khan immediately called for a commercial break, but fans already had their phones out. Within minutes, the clip was viral. The AEW women's division had never seen anything like it. A newcomer with a Hollywood name, legitimate martial arts roots, and no interest in being a character. She wasn't playing a gimmick. She was the gimmick. Backstage reports said some wrestlers refused to work with her, calling her too stiff after bruising 2 trainees during practice. Yet, fans didn't care. They wanted more. Then, in a shocking move, Arissa posted a cryptic Instagram video. Dressed in training gear, she stood in a dark room, saying only one sentence. "My father taught me. Never worn twice." Viewers on social media went wild. Fans flooded AEW's comments begging for an Arissa versus Toni Storm showdown. The hype was unstoppable. At the next Dynamite, the unthinkable happened. Arissa was ambushed mid-entrance by Toni Storm and Mariah May. The crowd erupted into chaos. Arissa didn't flinch. She fought back with swift precision. Every move looked surgical, controlled, terrifyingly real. Within seconds, Storm and May were on the mat, gasping for breath. Arissa stood tall, her hair disheveled, breathing steady, a chilling smile finally appearing on her face. The crowd chanted, "Seagal! Seagal!" in disbelief. As Arissa looked into the hard cam, she raised a single finger and mouthed, "One down." The fans knew this story was just beginning, but nobody expected what would happen next. In the following week's episode, AEW teased a special appearance from an international guest. The lights went dark, and then a ripple through the crowd. Rhea Ripley's music hit. The arena exploded. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day enforcer from WWE, was stepping into AEW territory for the first time ever, and it was to confront Arissa LeBrock. The two locked eyes in the center of the ring. No words, just tension thick enough to slice with a blade. Commentary lost their minds. Excalibur shouted, "This can't be happening." The crowd was on fire. Then Rhea spoke, "You think you scare people because your dad made action movies? Let's see what happens when the lights go out and there's no script." Fans went ballistic. The crossover moment they thought impossible was happening right in front of them. Arissa smirked, tilting her head slightly, the same cold, calculating look her father gave in every action scene. She leaned in and whispered just one word, "Soon." Social media imploded. Clips hit millions of views in minutes. Wrestling journalists declared it the biggest crossover tease of the decade. Backstage sources claimed both companies had quietly approved the segment as a test for a potential interpromotional match, something unheard of since the Forbidden Door era began. But Arissa's warning wasn't just for Rhea. The following night, she released a short video on AEW's Twitter, standing in the shadows with the AEW Women's Championship belt draped over her shoulder, even though it wasn't hers. "When I step into your world, I take what I want." The message was clear, and the challenge had been sent. Fans couldn't stop speculating. Was Steven Seagal's daughter about to headline the biggest interbrand women's fight ever? Backstage cameras caught Rhea's chilling reply. "Careful what you wish for. I don't warn twice either." The wrestling world had officially lost its mind. AEW versus WWE wasn't supposed to happen, but Arissa LeBrock had made it impossible to ignore. The cold warning had turned into a full-blown challenge. Sports sites, entertainment outlets, even mainstream Hollywood tabloids picked it up. Headlines read, "Steven Seagal's daughter declares war on WWE star Rhea Ripley." In AEW, Arissa was training harder than ever. Exclusive footage showed her sparring with male wrestlers, working on grappling counters and submission transitions. Her intensity was unmatched. One coach said, "She trains like she's preparing for an actual fight, not a show." Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley fired back on Raw. During a live promo, she smirked into the camera and said, "I don't care who your daddy is. In my ring, everyone bleeds the same." The internet exploded again. Fans started fantasy booking dream matches, artists created posters, and YouTube channels hit millions of views breaking down every subtle hint of the upcoming clash. AEW finally confirmed it. Arissa LeBrock versus Rhea Ripley. Cold Justice. Live at Forbidden Door 2. The world erupted. Tickets sold out in minutes. The hype was unlike anything AEW had ever seen. As the weeks went by, both women delivered haunting promos. Arissa said, "This isn't about brand versus brand. This is about who can survive when the rules break." Fans couldn't believe how cinematic it felt. Commentators compared it to a movie come to life. The Silent Assassin versus the Nightmare Queen. The press conference turned violent. A face-off descended into chaos when Arissa slammed her hand on the table, knocking over microphones while Rhea stood inches away, grinning like a devil. Security had to separate them. Fans in attendance went wild, chanting, "Let them fight." As Arissa walked away, she turned back once more and said, "The warning's over. Now comes the consequence." The night of Forbidden Door 2 arrived, and it felt like the world stopped to watch. Two titans, two worlds, one legacy on the line. Arissa LeBrock entered first, calm, collected, draped in black and gold. The crowd roared as the announcer echoed her name. Cameras caught a brief smile, not of arrogance but of certainty. Then came Rhea Ripley. The arena shook. Fans couldn't believe this was actually happening. The bell rang. Silence. Then, impact. Rhea charged. Arissa countered with a takedown straight out of an MMA highlight reel. The crowd erupted. Every move felt personal, every stare heavy with pride and fury. Arissa's precision met Rhea's brute force in a clash that looked too real to be scripted. "This is a war," yelled commentary. For nearly 20 minutes they tore each other apart. No theatrics, just raw, physical storytelling. Arissa targeted Rhea's arm with surgical precision. Rhea powered through, delivering a spine-shattering slam that shook the ring. Fans were losing it. "Fight forever," chants filled the air. The climax came when Arissa locked in her signature armbar, the same one that ended Statlander's match. Rhea screamed in pain, clawing toward the ropes, but couldn't reach. She tapped. The bell rang. The arena exploded. Arissa LeBrock had done the unthinkable. She made Rhea Ripley tap out. The crowd went insane. Social media melted. Arissa stood tall, breathing heavily, her father's stoic stare mirrored in her face. She grabbed the mic and said softly, "Consider the warning." Delivered. The camera zoomed in on her face as the crowd chanted her name. It wasn't just a debut anymore. It was a declaration. AEW had found its most dangerous weapon, and as the lights faded to black, fans knew one thing for sure. The era of Arissa LeBrock had begun, and the women's division would never be the same again.